Hey everyone, it's Anthony here on Single and Placing, and I hope everyone is having a fabulous day, fabulous week. We are here doing a bit of a whip chat. So, yeah, I am super excited to jump into this. Let's see, you're just gonna straighten these guys here a little bit. But yeah, I am just wanted to sit down and do a quick whip chat. Not sure how long we'll go today, but try to do as much as possible. I feel like any moment I can cram in some time to do a whip chat, then I'm gonna jump on the opportunity. So I wanted to talk a little bit about the canvas that we're currently working on. This is from Distracted by Diamonds, and it is Self-Portrait by Tamara de Lampica, or Tamara de Lampica. Here is there is the image. I guess I can hold it this way because I'm going to be, I'm not sure which way makes the most sense. I have to rotate my videos when I'm done filming just to make sense from like a standpoint of like how I can cram my hands in here. So there's that. This is a 48 color square drill canvas. The size that we have here, let's see where I can find that on this canvas. 52 by 68 centimeters. So I did an unboxing of this, so feel free to go and check that out. I'm not sure how long ago that was, if that was fairly recently or this was like a canvas that I had done a while back, but take a look at that. I believe I may have used it as a part of a This Is How We Do It, where I was hanging up my canvases. I'm not quite sure, but take a look back. It should be listed there. Otherwise, we're doing a little bit of a whip chat here on this today. I'm about 1, 2, 3, 4, 5.5 sections done, so I'm going to try to get as much of this section done as possible. So yeah, I hope everyone's having a great week and a good summer thus far. We're kind of in the thick of things with summer, moving into to August. So yeah, let's see what we've got here. Oh, as far as tools, let's talk about tools and what my setup looks like. So I've got my diamond painting pen. This is from Norse Alchemist, and this has everlasting tips. We've got a single placer here and a 3-placer on this side. We've just got our pink wax from Diamond Art Club in this end, and then some glue dots on this side. As far as washi tape that you, I don't think you can see it in camera, but I've bordered this canvas with Scotch brand washi tape, and it's like a deep green to match the greens of this canvas. And then for trays, we have a Mooney Made tray. This is the UV color changing one. And then we also have the Venti from NYX's Notions. I'm using these one last diamond painting session before I put together my comparison of these trays, as well as a third one, which I may grab today as well. So yeah, we can go ahead and start picking some colors here. I think I'm gonna go with D, and that is 46. Awesome. So I hope everyone, tell me on the comments how your week's been going. I try to post these on Wednesdays, so you try to do it like midweek. So feel free to give me kind of a midweek update for you. Or for me, give me that. But this kit it's a combination of some color blocking and confetti as we transition from, you can see these transitions from color to color. It's a very unique piece, and it's one that really jumped out at me on the Distracted by Diamond site. Kind of when I first ordered from them. I think this might be part of the very first order I had with Distracted by Diamonds. So I have this and one other Tamara de Lampica kit that one I'm really excited to work on, and I can't wait. I already did unbox it, but I didn't film it, so I might do a re-unboxing. So I'm looking forward to sharing that one with you all as soon as I can get to it. Got quite a few kits that I basically, before I decided to start, to do a YouTube channel, I was obviously unboxing my kits because I just wanted to look at them and then hanging them up in the closet. So I think I have like 4 or 5 more that I've never recorded a video on, but I need to bring them back out to do that. So couple of housekeeping things. I do have my tripod set up on the table, and I'm a pretty heavy placer, so I try to, the camera does a pretty good job of stabilizing, but you might see some little shakes and shimmies here and there. Like I said, I do my best to try to either edit that out or the camera just tries to do it for me. But yeah, just fair warning. And you may hear some barking in the background. I've got Apollo here. He's sitting at the doorway. He likes to kind of hang out in the doorway. I think he's got his bone or something that he's working on, but it's not him barking. I have found, and I think this is, common with a lot of dogs, he really likes, like, it catches his attention when there's dogs on TV, and he is obsessed with the movie. I think it's Togo. It's a Disney movie. And so I put it on because I noticed that he liked seeing dogs when they were on the TV. It really caught his attention, and he literally just watches it. And so I put on a couple documentaries that I had found, but they were all like sad stuff. Like, I mean, there would be fun stuff, and it's all around, like, I tried to look up like sled dogs and stuff. I don't know why I think that he'll like that more because he's part husky. But they were always like, had some cute stuff, but then it'd be like, oh, and then, the cold temperatures and blah, 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 or like the poor treatment of animals. Like, there'd be those kind of documentaries. I'm like, I don't think I want my dog watching this, and it was a lot of dogs like whining. And so I was like, I want to find something that is like wholesome, that's dog related, that he can watch. It's so strange, but I found this movie on Togo on Disney Plus, and I put it on, and he loves it. He's not watching it right now because I'm in the craft room, and he wants to kind of have eyes on me, so he's sitting kind of in the doorway, kind of listening, and he'll go over and look at it and then come back. But we've watched this movie since I found it, like, I think 4 times now. I usually just put it on while I'm like diamond painting or I'm doing something else, laundry, what have you, and it really catches his attention. And so I think it's just so cute that he'll just lay on the couch and just full on just watching a movie. And now I know, like, a lot of times, like, parents, like, parents of actual children, they'll be like, oh my God, I'm so sick of watching, like, Encanto or whatever. We've seen it a million times. And now I'm like, okay, I'm now on my 4th viewing, I think today will be, of Togo. Just so my dog has, like, just so Apollo has something to watch. So I think it's pretty funny, and it seems like it's a good movie. I honestly haven't like watched it. I just was like, this has dogs in it, let's see if he likes it. And he just sits there and just watches it. And like some of the more exciting parts, when the dogs are like yipping and stuff, he'll like kind of sit up a little bit and be like, oh God, like it's an important moment, pivotal moment in the movie. And I'm like, you are just adorable. So that's what we're doing right now. But we actually just got back. I signed up at work to do an internship, or to help with the interns. We had a retreat or a hiking / camping weekend with them. And so yesterday I drove up to Mount Elbert, which is just outside of Leadville, Colorado. Drove up there and camped out for the night with the interns. We were at a different campsite, but they were just a little ways down the road. They bussed them all up there. I drove separately since I had Apollo, but there was about 60 kids, and we drove up there separately, and then found the campsite and camped out. And it wasn't like a kumbaya kind of like summer camp style, because I got up there actually a little bit earlier than they did, but they didn't get up until about 8 o'clock from Denver. They got bussed in from we have 2 offices, and actually 3 offices in Denver, but they got bussed in from one main office and then all drove up. So by the time they stopped to have they had like a little pizza dinner in Leadville and then came to the campsite. By the time they got up there, it was a little after 8. So it was literally set up your stuff, hang out for a little bit. No, they didn't even do any fires or anything. And then bedtime. I think there's a fire ban in that area anyway, so we didn't do a fire either. But it wasn't kind of a hangout. It was like, get up there, get some rest, because they did a 14er today. So went to bed at like, what was it? went to bed right around 9 o'clock, or at least I did. I don't know what time they were all lights out. And then we had to be up at 3:30 in the morning I was responsible for check-in. So when we got to the trailhead before the buses did, got a little table set up, made sure everyone had their water. We had bandanas to tie to their backpacks because we sent them up in waves. That way we weren't like crowding the trail. They went up in like groups of anywhere from 5 to 10. And had to check them in. So just check off, make sure that we had everybody, made sure that we confirmed that they were with their right group leader, made sure that they had plenty of water, some snacks, and then we also sent up some of the, basically they were more volunteers that were just kind of standing at stations along the trail. They had to go up early. That way, if any of the kids needed to turn back or were feeling lightheaded, because a lot of these interns are from out of state, and so, you know, climbing that high can be a little bit taxing, or hiking at that altitude. So we had little oxygen cans and plenty of water, tons of stuff for them. But we had people stationed. I think it was like every 1 or 2 miles, and it's 7 or 8 miles up, and then 7 or 8 back. So a total of like 14 to 16. So we had 7 volunteers or 8 volunteers head up and stayed at way stations. And then if they're feeling lightheaded, feeling uncomfortable, then we had people that would hike them back down to the trailhead. So it's quite the production. I've never seen anything like it before, you know, so many people up there at once. But sorry, getting too close to the camera there. But it was really cool. It was a lot of fun. I just did check-in. We all had like headlamps because, you know, it was still pitch black when we got up there, and then the sun started to come out after about an hour or so up there. But it was a lot of fun. The kids seemed to be in good spirits. A few of them, because they had groups, basically you signed up based on how far you wanted to go or how far you thought you could go. So they asked them just to kind of gauge their abilities. So there was a group that stayed behind and didn't even go up that trail. They just hiked down to the lake, which sounds like it would be easier, but that hike up from the lake, it's Twin Lakes, that can also be a little bit strenuous too. So when they left to go do the easy, like alternate hike, I was like, just everyone please, just stay hydrated, be careful, because that hike coming back up from the lake is no small feat itself either. So they did all of that, and it actually went a lot smoother than anyone had anticipated. So there was like 6 of us assigned to check-in, right? And really they only utilized like 3 of us as far as like needing people to stay behind. Because once we got all the kids up on the trail and off to their respective, like what they were going to go do, everything else was kind of taken care of by the volunteers that were going to be posted up along the way. Each one had a team lead. There was also kind of our resident kind of adventurer with my current company. He was kind of leading the pack. So they just had a lot of support there. I think that is a music sign. They had a lot of support there. So we sat in our cars at the trailhead or at the parking lot for a good couple hours. And we were just kind of milling about, and I had Apollo with me. So I was like, is there any way that I could just drive down to the lake and just kind of walk him around, get him a little tuckered out, and come back? So I was like, I'll take him on a little hike. I wasn't about to take him up the 14er, and the way it was set up is we parked, or we did the check-in at the trailhead. That's the lower trailhead, but it's 2 miles up to like the official start. So they were loading the kids up in SUVs and Jeeps and stuff, and then taking them the 2 miles to the actual like official start. But the check-in was there at the parking lot where the buses could have access to, because that's all 4-wheel drive, going further higher or further up. So I was like, I don't know if I want to, I don't want to have to do the hike on the dirt road for 2 miles just to get to the start of the hike. Because in my head, I was like, oh, I'll hike with Apollo for a couple hours while the kids are up on the 14er. But I was like, I don't know if I just want to walk along a rough dirt road. I want to kind of do a hike. So I was able to leave and go down to the lake, and he had a blast. It's about a half a mile hike, maybe a little bit longer down to the actual beach or the sand itself. And there was nobody out there because we're talking like 6 in the morning at this point, maybe even a little bit earlier. And so there's nobody out there. It was gorgeous, the sunrise, and like the weather was just super cool and nice and chilly. So I was bundled up, and of course Apollo loved it because he's a furry boy. And I let him off the leash because I couldn't see anybody along the shoreline. Like, as far as I could see, and I could pretty much see all around the lake, there was no one. No cars in the parking lot at the little, put in area. And so I just let him off, and he went for it. He stayed close to me, which I'm so thankful for, because this is really the first trip I've let him off leash other than like a hike. But just to kind of free run, I don't really think I've ever done that before. So I was very nervous, very worried that he was just going to take off into the distance and I'd, never see him again or whatever. But he did so well. He would run and then kind of stop at about like 100 feet or so, a little bit less, maybe a little bit more than that, not that far. He'd sprint past me, and then he'd stop and I'd be like, come on, baby. And he'd sprint past me and zip the other way and just was kind of doing back and forth near me. So even as I was walking along the water's edge, he was still kind of following me, doing his little zoomies. And he was going and running in the water and jumping in the water and just like having the freaking time of his life. And you know what I might do? I want to share a video of it. I think it's only like a 10 or 15-second video of him. He wasn't doing his full zoomies. He was just kind of testing the waters literally. So I'm going to stop this so I can insert that in, and then we'll come back. Hi. Come on, let's go. Good boy. Good boy. Okay, that's just a little placeholder for me to insert that clip. So yeah, he was just splashing around, and he doesn't fully swim without me like in the water or really encouraging him. He'll just splash and kind of get, halfway up his legs, and then he'll come back out. Even when I threw like some sticks and rocks in there so it'd make like the plunking sound. I'd be like, go get it. And he'd like run at it and kind of splash, like throw his paws in the water and then freak out and come back. So, oops, there's a little bit of trash in there. But he just was going and really tuckered himself out. There was one point where I think he hit stepped on a little rock or something the wrong way, and I think he must have gave himself a little bit of a twisted paw for a second because he like started limping. And of course I helicoptered in and was like, oh no, because we're like in the middle of nowhere. There's probably not a vet for miles and miles and miles, and I was just very paranoid about that. So I checked him out. I, lifted his paw and kind of like felt his leg and stuff and gave it little squeezes here and there to see if he'd like yelp, if he really did hurt it. And like 10 seconds later, he was back to running. So I think he just kind of, I don't know, that's probably the first time he's ever like banged his, bonked his leg. So I'm sure he was just like, what the heck is this? So he seems fine. I checked it out again when we got home and before we got in the car too, just to give it a little squeeze, make sure he wasn't sore anywhere. Check for any swelling, and I, kind of checked in between his paws to see maybe he stepped on something, because there was like bottle caps, and people are just not as cleanly as you'd like them to be in public spaces. So there was like bottle caps, and I was like, oh God, what if he stepped on like a piece of glass? So all these things were running through my head, and he just popped back up and just kept going. So he had a blast. He was so dirty and muddy. And I tried to get him to like kind of rinse off in the lake before we left, but there's just so much sand, and it was raining a lot before we got up there. So it was just kind of in general kind of squishy and muddy. So he was a mess. So I put a towel down, a little beach towel in the back seat to kind of sop some of that up. And we went back up to the trailhead, and it was still, of course, dead silent. You know, the first groups hadn't even come back yet. And when they were coming back, we were going to check the buses were coming back up at 1 p.m. To pick up everybody, and then they were going to head back down to Denver. But they were stopping along the way to do another dinner and like this and that. So they're not planning on getting back until tonight, like 8 or 9 o'clock at night. And that is quite the day for those kids. Like, kudos to them for starting, you know, leaving at, you know, didn't get to the campsite till about 8 p.m. yesterday. Setting up tents, setting up, you know, all their camping gear, which the company rented it for them. And then sleeping until they had to be up, I think, at 3, and then hiking, you know, anywhere from 0 to 15, 16 miles, and then getting back in the bus, and then coming all the way back down and having to stop for food, like, and not getting back until 8 or 9 o'clock the next night. Like, that is quite the haul, and it's not something that I was prepared to do. That's why I drove myself, and I don't think they'd let a dog on the bus. So I got back up to the trailhead or the parking area, and all the check-in and check-out volunteers were still just hanging out. Everyone was in their cars because it was pretty chilly up there. They were just staying warm in their cars and sitting on their phones. And I'm like, I don't really want to, you know, like, if they didn't need us for the check-in, which was kind of the crazy part, they certainly aren't going to need as many people for the check-out, just because they're coming down in waves. It's not all 60 some odd kids all in a parking lot together. They're going to come down in groups of 10. They're going to check them out, essentially, make sure they made it back down, and then throw them on the buses. And the bus is just going to hang out until everyone's accounted for. So it wasn't going to be that hectic, I think, in the afternoon than it was that early in the morning. And it was dark, you know, it was still pitch black when we were checking people in and having to use headlamps and make sure we got everybody in their right groups. So I was just like, hey, you know, and also, I don't know what I ate. Well, I do know what I ate on the way up there. I had, where did I stop? I stopped at like Wendy's or something, nothing too crazy. But last night, by the time I got up there and set up my tent and stuff, my stomach was feeling a little like, you know, rumbly, and I'm not a big poop outside person. I'll just be candid. Like, I feel like, and I love camping, but I feel like maybe my body just like naturally is like, well, just hang on to this. I know that's gross, but we'll just take care of our business when we're headed back down, you know? So I don't know. My stomach was just a little bit messed up in the morning. Luckily, they have some restrooms down by the lake that I was able to use. And then I got back up to the trailhead and was like, hey, it seems like, you know, we're not going to need everybody. And also my stomach's not feeling super hot. So would it be okay if me and Apollo just make our way back down now? Unless there's anything that you need, we're happy to stay and help. And they're like, no, it's actually kind of boring. And we had plenty of volunteers, probably more than we needed. But thank you so much for coming and helping check in. And everyone was freaking out about Apollo when I took him out of the car during check-in. They didn't really notice him at first because it was so dark, and then they'd see that I had like a little dog in tow, and they're like, oh my god. So everyone was like, thank you for bringing Apollo, he's so cute. And so I feel like I did my duty, and I was able to come back, and now I'm here. So I am exhausted, first of all, just from the long drive to and from, and like setting up and, you know, tearing down the all the camping gear, my tent and everything, and then, you know, keeping Apollo wrangled last night. And that was his first night in a tent. He did have a little bit of a freak out early on when I put him in the tent for the night with me. He was like pacing the perimeter and like sniffing and like scratching at it. I just don't know if he understood the concept of like, this is technically like a little portable home. So he was trying to figure out like, is this where I'm supposed to stay? And am I supposed to try to break out of this? And then he like, you know, his energy level got up, and I think he was just a little bit anxious. So I was like trying to lay down, and I turned the lights off, and he was like nipping at me. And I think he just didn't know what was going on. And finally he laid down, and it was mainly after there was some other campers nearby that were playing music, and they were still like coming and going, and like, so the lights of their cars, you know, will do those weird shadows on the side of the tent, on the fabric. And so he was like, his eyes were darting around and his head was following those, and I think that was kind of freaking him out a little bit. But he did finally calm down, and it was right when it started to get really cold, which I was so thankful for, because he was my little space heater. I just kind of yanked him over towards me. So he was like half laying on my sleeping pad and half like on the ground. And he let me put a blanket over him, which is kind of the first time he's ever done that, and like let me do it, because he just runs hot. And so I put the blanket over him so I could kind of, you know, trap some of his body heat under the covers and under the sleeping bag with me. And it was so comfortable. I like slept so well. And I didn't wake up until like right before my alarm went off. And I think it's because my buddy slash coworker, he camped right next to us, and I think his alarm must have gone off, and it kind of brought me out of my sleep. But then he must have turned it off, you know, as I was coming to, because I didn't hear it. But then I looked at my alarm, and it was like it was like 3:13 in the morning or something like that. So I think maybe his was set for 3, and it just took that long for me to come out of it, and mine was set for like 3:30. So he did great. Apollo did great in the tent. It just took him a little time to get used to it, but not long. I'd say maybe like 20 minutes. And then he was out and just cuddling with me. And then when we got up this morning, we got breakfast, or he got breakfast. I just brought some Cliff Bars and those types of snacks with me. Not like a full-on breakfast. And then went to the trailhead and started getting all the kids checked in. So it was a lot of fun. It was a great time. The company gave us some really cool backpacks, and I'm wearing the t-shirt from the trip. And then they gave us this really nice kind of windbreaker, not a full-on winter jacket, but kind of like some kind of in-between. So really nice stuff to take home with us. All the interns got it too, and I hope they have a really good time and a good experience. I think there was a little bit of frustration on their part, because I don't think everyone realized that we were just going to like the parking lot, like the south entrance, which was still 2 miles up an off-road path to the actual start of the hike. And so, you know, you've got 60 some odd kids and a limited number of off-road vehicles. Like, they literally rented a couple of Jeeps, and some people had trucks. Some of the volunteers had trucks, and a couple of people took their like Tahoes or SUVs up there. But still, we were able to shuttle maybe like 20 kids at a time, and it's a 15-minute drive up and a 15-minute drive back. So the kids that were in the first wave, you know, they got to go, and then the rest of the group was sitting there for, you know, half an hour until the next, you know, round of vehicles, you know, till the vehicles got back down, and then again. So it really took about an hour and a half to get all the kids up to the official start of the trail. And I know some of them were antsy, because if you don't start early enough, you're not gonna, there's less of a chance, if potentially no chance, that you'll be able to summit that 14er, because it's just long. And so I know some of them were like, come on, let's go. You know, I wanted to summit, and we're just like, we're trying to, and they weren't saying it like that, but you could tell that was the energy, like that antsy energy. Like, we're sorry, we're trying to get the trucks back down here as quickly as possible. Just be patient. And so we did get them all up. I don't know if all of them are going to summit, and we tried to break it up by people that thought that were identifying themselves as probably not being able to. So it was mainly the kids that were like, yeah, I'm not making it to the top of that. We tried to keep those in the last wave, but I think there was still some stragglers that had the intention on making it to the top that kind of got stuck waiting for vehicles. So we did the best we could, and I think everyone will still have an excellent time. But I think next year, if we do this again, have more off-road vehicles, or rent more, and have drivers ready to go to make sure that we can kind of get everybody up in one big convoy, essentially, to get them up there. Because we thought we were only going to stagger them by about 10 or 15 minutes, ended up being staggered like every half hour. So Anyway, so that's what happened today. And I got back and I'm exhausted. I really do need a shower. I washed my hands and that's about it because they were filthy. And I was like, I gotta try to get some content up before I crash. So I am uploading an unboxing right now of Nix's Notions trays. So by the time you see this, that should have already been up. It's currently processing and uploading on YouTube right now. And then this WIP Chat, ideally I'll be able to get this cleaned up and uploaded and ready to go for later on in the week. So depending on when you see this. But yeah, so that's kind of what I did when I got back down. Apollo is pretty exhausted too. He's such a good car dog. He sleeps pretty much the entire way. On the way up here, he woke, or up there to the Leadville area, which is about 2.5 hour drive. He slept all the way until we got into Leadville, which, you know, the speed limit is a lot slower. So as I was slowing down through town, that's when he kind of came to and was like, not really antsy or anything, but he likes to like stand on the center console as a lot of dogs do and like nuzzle me and like try to get my attention. And we stopped in Leadville so I could let him out to pee. And then he was good to go until we got to the campsite. And then on the way down, nothing, just out. The entire drive home, he just slept and no barking. He doesn't whine in the car. He likes to just kind of crash. And so I know he got a lot of rest on the way home, but he really tuckered himself out running along the beach there. He just loved it, and he just had such a big smile on his face. And on the way down, I was thinking, I really need to like seriously consider, because it's something I want to do too, consider potentially relocating at some point, not in the near future, but at some point I want to be closer to the beach, because that was such a good way to exercise him. And since there was nobody really around, I was able to just kind of let him off so he could free run. And it'd be so nice to live in an area that maybe had like a little quiet beach or something that I could take him to in the mornings before work and just let him run, you know, go nuts. And, you know, I think the sand also is harder to like run in and walk in. So that exerts him a little bit more. And, you know, I would get some exercise out of it too. And we have trails and stuff here in Colorado, and he gets plenty of exercise that way. I take him hiking a lot, but I have never felt comfortable, except for one time when we were in Colorado Springs out in the middle of nowhere. I've never felt comfortable closer to the city letting him off leash. I mean, A, you're not supposed to, and B, you never know what dog's going to be coming around the corner, or someone that's scared of dogs could be coming around the corner. And the closer you are to the city, those trails that are up in the foothills, they're very busy. Even in early mornings, people go up there to do their morning exercises and stuff. So I don't want to upset anyone. I don't want to get a fine, but it was just so awesome to see him just like, I've never seen him run that fast, you know, just sprinting around and just like living life. It was so cool. So I don't know. It made me think like, maybe this is, you know, something I need to explore more so he has more opportunities to do this, and even to relocate for maybe a couple of years or just a year, just to mix it up a little bit. I think that would be really cool. So it's something I'm going to keep thinking about and keep pondering. I don't have any firm plans or like how I would execute that, and I'm not really in a position to pick up and move right now. So I'm going to stay put if for now, and if I was to go anywhere, I'd need to find some place that has some pretty affordable housing. Like I couldn't say I'm off to California or I'm off to, you know, the LA area or anything like that. I was thinking either somewhere on the Oregon coast, like a more rural area, like a little sleepy, you know, oceanside town there. You know, ideally this would be as I'm working remotely. I'd find a role that would allow me to work remotely. So I'm not relying on, you know, oh, I've got to find a recruiter job in Nowheresville, Oregon, you know, or like Southern Washington, kind of closer to the Washington-Oregon border. I did a road trip. I think I mentioned this in a previous WIP Chat. I did a road trip through there last 4th of July, and I just loved it. It was gorgeous. I could absolutely see myself living there for some time. So I might start seriously looking at, you know, pricing or what it would take, how much money I need to put away, all that good stuff. I definitely need to, like, you know, get things a little bit more in order here. Obviously, I'd need to identify, you know, find a job that would allow me to do that. So it'd be a huge adjustment, but I think I would really like it. I think Apollo would have a freaking blast, and I'd love to have that accessibility to, like, let him have some space like that. I think that'd be really cool. So we'll see what happens there. But yeah, so that's kind of what's going on with me right now. As soon as I'm done with this WIP Chat, I'm going to take a nice long shower, do a nice long skincare routine, and just kind of relax, edit some videos. Who knows, I might get a second wind and do like an unboxing just to get ahead of the game or something, but I kind of want to keep it a low-key day. I did a lot of chores before I left over the weekend, so laundry just needs to be folded. It's all dry and stuff. I have a couple dishes to get done, but you know, trash was taken out, carpets were vacuumed over the weekend, so it's not like I don't feel necessarily behind from a housekeeping standpoint, and it's just me and my roommate, so it's not like the place gets trashed, but I like to keep things fairly neat and tidy. So the other thing that I did change with this WIP Chat is I got a new extension for my camera for my phone. When before it was a lot closer, now it's like another good 2 or 3 inches higher, so I can do a little bit of a different angle. I was noticing in my WIP Chats that my diamond painting pen, I mean, this is still pretty close, but my diamond painting pen would be like this. It'd be like doing this, and it would kind of mess up the focus. So I hope that is allowing it to still stay kind of in a general focus as opposed to coming in and out of focus. So I'll take a look at it, but when I'm editing. But for those that do watch WIP Chats, I know most people just listen to them, and that's kind of the intention. If you do watch them, I'm trying to make some things better so it's not as fuzzy or jarring when I'm moving my hands and stuff, because that autofocus can kind of create some wonkiness in your videos. So trying to work on that. I have my ring light set up. I've had that for quite some time, but I'm thinking of making some adjustments to my lighting, because when I do unboxings, the glare from the cover paper or the plastic paper over new kits is pretty intense with that light shining on it. So it's really hard to see the full canvas or all the details of the image because you're getting a lot of reflection from the light. So I'm trying to figure out how I avoid that while still keeping it visible. The unboxing that I just filmed, was that yesterday? Or yeah, it must have been yesterday. I noticed it, and it was just so glary. And then I was like, you know what, let's just try cutting the lights. And yesterday was kind of gloomy here in Denver, and I cut the lights, and it was just like, okay, well, now we're just sitting in a dark room and you can't really see the paint or the kit either. So I need to find like a happy middle ground where I still get plenty of detail, but it's not too much of a glare, too much of a reflection off that cover paper. I don't know. Maybe I'll ask around, you know, there's plenty of awesome content creators that I'm sure would be happy to give me a little bit of some guidance there, but I definitely have been struggling with like how to step up my game from a lighting standpoint. So yeah, but Apollo's doing so good. He's a sleepy boy, but usually he wants, you know, he comes over to me while I'm doing WIP Chats, because I think it's, since I'm talking, he's like, what are you doing? Who are you talking to? What's going on here? Like, give me these attentions. And so he's just hanging out. I think, well, he just walked away, and I will give him a minute to return. And if he does not, I will go find him, because I don't want him getting into anything. Let's see, our next color is Z, which is 36. And this is 3766 is the DMC code. But yeah, I'm really liking this canvas. I don't know if it's just how I'm sitting or my angle, but I have noticed, and also there's a lot of light colors in this, but I have been noticing some more gapping than I usually see, and I don't know if that's just me placing improperly these days. I'm trying to do my best, and honestly, when you pull back, you can't really notice it, but yeah, I'm not sure if I'm just dropping them at a weird angle, but I find that I'm doing a lot more straightening with these drills. They're really good quality drills. Like, I'm not noticing a lot of tabs or weird stuff. I would just be curious to know if like maybe these drills are a little bit too small for the symbols. Like I said, it could also just 100% be me, but I haven't been stressing about it too much. I spent a little bit of time at the beginning really getting in there and like cleaning it up as I went. And I just found that I was spending a lot of time doing that. And then every time I would step away like 2 to 4 feet, I didn't really notice it anymore. So I'm like, why am I fussing over this so much when it looks perfectly fine at a distance? And this is definitely the type of kit with a lot of detail that you want to be at like a proper viewing distance to see the full image. Up close, it does look a little bit like, what is this? What am I working towards here? You know, or what am I looking at? But you pull back and then you can start to see the detail of the car that she's in. This is kind of like, right here is the curb. And then this is going to be the door. And this is kind of, I think, right here is the very top of the door, and we're going to start the steering wheel right here. And this is just a little piece of her glove as she's holding the steering wheel, which is up here. So it's kind of hard to put all that together when you're up close, but you pull away and it just makes a lot more sense. So yeah. Other things that I've noticed with this canvas is you can't see it right now, but you can see these sweeping kind of color transitions, right? The way that it's been rendered, there's a couple areas where these transitional diamonds here, as it kind of moves from color to color, they kind of fall outside of like where you'd expect them to be. So maybe even this one's a little bit outside, this one's a little bit outside, but you get down here, I don't think you can see it. There's this blue color here. There's just one random blue, one random blue, one random blue off over here that there aren't any other blues. It's just greens and browns and stuff. So it looks a little bit out of place. And so I don't know if I may go back through with my tweezers and clean that up if I have some extra drills, just to get it to look a little bit more fluid and concise, because those blue dots, once again, when you're pulled away, not a huge deal, but those little pieces of blue when there is no other blue around you or around it, it does make it look a little bit strange up close. So I might clean those up. I might just leave them. I probably won't clean them up until after I do my finish or my finish video, because I definitely want to do the kit as charted, call out those things, that way people have a clear understanding of what they're going to get when they get their kit. Make those comments on, you know, what I'm seeing that might be a little bit off or I would personally change, and then maybe change them in real time just so we can see like a difference. That would be nice. I hope I have the energy to do that, or that intention carries over by the time I finish this. But we'll see. I've been finding, like, with my finishes, I typically will do like, once I get to those last couple of sections, I'm like, let's just push through this. So it'll be a late night where I'm just trying to get those last sections done just so I can, you know, complete the canvas. And then I finish it and I'm tired. I'm, you know, way late to bed, you know? And then I end up taking my canvases to work to hang up, and I'm excited to do that. So I just roll them up so I can take them to work in the morning. Well, that doesn't give me the opportunity to do a finish video. And I did that with the Captain. I finished that thing at like midnight, and I was like, yay, I get to, you know, and I had a coworker that she really liked that image. And so she was like, can I hang this up at my desk when you finish it? I was like, sure. Like, I'm starting to run out of space over on my side. So I was excited to take it to her the next morning. So I just snagged it and brought it in, and did not do a finish reveal or like a post review or anything like that. But it was long story short, as far as a post review for that, was Diamond Art Club's the Captain. Fantastic. It was a round color blocking dream. It was basically just there's 12 colors. 12 colors color blocked, and it worked up super fast. It was a blast, and it was a much needed break from some of my Summer with the Masters kits, which were very confetti heavy. So I still have the red Gate of Hongo. If you're wondering what happened to that one, it was my other Summer with the Masters, my second one. I got to one particular section that is confetti crazy, and it's all red. It's like 8 or 9 different shades of red all in one section, and they're all confettied, and all the different shades, at least on the canvas, look pretty much the same. So you really have to look at those symbols to see what you're looking at. And it just like, just looking at it made my head hurt. And so I set it aside, and I was like, you know, I'm not going to force myself to do this just to like try to get it done during the summer with the master's event. It would be nice if I could get it done, but I just can't do this right now. And so I set it aside and broke out the captain, finished the captain, took that red gate of hung out again and looked at it again and said, still no. And so that's how we ended up with self-portrait that I'm working on right now. I don't know. I think it's something that might be just something that I break out when I'm feeling really ambitious, and just do as much of it as I can, and then put it back and not have any sort of obligation of time. The other thing that, you know, makes me want to keep doing it is just the space. I don't like having just like a kit kitted up and taking up space in my storage containers, taking up space in the closet when it could be worked on. So I have been having a little bit of like remorse of not working on it, because I'm like, I could kit up something else with that, you know, with those containers, because it's taking up one of my big 120 storage container like zippered fabric things. It's essentially what I'll show you real quick what these sit in. You've seen them in my kitting up videos, these big guys. I can fit, each of these holds 60 containers, and I have a double decker one that holds 2, so 120. So that red gate of hongo is occupying a full one of those, and I only have 2 of them. And I'd really like to get them out of there. That way I can use that for something else. But I'm not about to, I don't want to fully throw in the towel on that and kit it down just to kit it up again at some point in the future. I think that might be a little bit of a waste of time. So who knows? It's just sitting in limbo with me right now until I get the, you know, the little bursts of energy or courage to take on. And it's not even the confetti that is getting to me. It's the fact that it's all the same, like all shades of red confetti or blue confetti. It just is hard to even look at, to be honest. But I'll get there eventually. And that's no knock to, that's from Uniquely Yours Down Under. I've had a number of issues or concerns with that kit, but all of them are very fixable, and it's not a knock to them. In fact, I would definitely reorder from them, but it's just not what I'm looking for right now. I just want something that's confetti, but also something that I can, easily distinguish the color transitions. The symbols are nice and clear. Drill qualities, good. I kind of want it all right now. I'm in a Diamond Art Club kind of mood, I think. And Distracted by Diamonds is very close. So I'm having a good time picking out some other kits. I think next I might go with, I don't know. There's a lot of events coming up, so that's probably where I need to turn my focus to. Next month we have I think it's called the Micathon. It's an event all about, I think it's Micah Jolina is the artist name. I'm sorry if I'm wrong on that, but I believe it's Micah Jolina. She is signed with Diamond Art Club, and so she has a number of kits on there. I wasn't planning on participating in that event. I was going to take August off as a little bit of a break, but one of her kits was on, I think there's a couple of her kits that are on sale, but it popped up as being on sale. I think it was originally $54, and I think I ended up getting it for 30 something, and it's called Astrid, and it's this really cool kind of like futuristic woman, lady, person, figure, and she's got like a little like bubble. It's like it looks like a gun from like a sci-fi movie, but it's shooting bubbles. It's like shooting little bubbles out, so she's got bubbles around her. It's really interesting, but the color palette is dark, like black background, but then everything else, like her outfit, I think the gun, a lot of the detail is in these different shades of like super high intensity, highly saturated aquamarines and icy blues and silvers, and a lot of kind of like this kind of color that you see here, and this color here. But even it seems they look, at least on the image on Diamond Art Club, even more intense, almost pushing neon, and I love it. I love that color palette. Not necessarily my cup of tea as far as subject. I'm not a big like cartoony, like whatever that style is, I'm not huge into that necessarily. I don't even know how to put my finger on it. I'm just not really into it. It's almost akin to like, there's the paintings with the kids or the girls that almost have those big doll eyes. They're kind of like exaggerated big eyes. I don't care for any of that personally. So this isn't really that at all, but it's just not my style typically. But I love the kind of sci-fi twist to it, and I love the color palette. So I was looking at a lot of her kits just to see maybe I could pick out one that I do for the Mic-a-thon, and I didn't really see any that I was necessarily ready to pay full price for. So that's kind of why I was like, I'll just sit this event out. I don't know if I'm necessarily a lover of her artwork. But then I found that kit on sale, and I was like, out of all of these, this is kind of my jam, just from a color palette and kind of sci-fi standpoint, and it's just kind of fun. So I think it'll be a fairly easy kit to work up. I don't even remember how many colors are in it, but I thought it'd be nice, and it's being run by Jenny Rose. I don't know what her channel is. I just know her through Nyx. On Nyx's live, she's one of the like key moderators. She's kind of one of Nyx's moderators, and she's always there helping out. So that's kind of how I know her, and that's how I heard about the event, is through an announcement on Nyx's channel. So I think she's being sponsored by some really great people, or great companies. I think she's got Diamond Art Club on board. I believe Micah herself will be participating in the event, so there might be some videos or content with the artist whom the whole event is based around. She'll be participating, so that's really kind of cool. So I don't know, there was just a lot of interesting stuff going on around that, and so I wanted to participate. And I found a kit that I could do it with, that I kind of like. So I'm going to go ahead and switch colors here, because it's getting a little bit, we're getting a little bit, I don't know. I want to fill in this and then kind of work my way up. So let's go with V, which is going to be 13 DMC 453. Boom. So yeah, let me know if you plan on participating in the Mic-a-thon, if you hadn't heard of it. If I can remember, which I probably won't, what I would suggest is maybe look up, I think you might be able to just kind of search Jenny Rose. You might also be able to, if you hop on one of the recordings of Nyx's lives, they are long, but you should be able to get some info about it on one of those. Or you could join maybe the upcoming live that Nyx does. She does them every Saturday. I believe they start at 9 p.m. Eastern, I want to say. So there's 7 p.m. Mountain is usually, is when they pop up for me. And then like I said, if I can remember, I will throw a link to, and the reason why I'm saying if I can remember is because I don't even know. I haven't really, I still need to look up like the rules and stuff. If there's an associated Facebook group, or like I said, if Jenny Rose has a channel that she's announced it on, I need to do all that research myself before next week is when the event starts, so I can sign up. I don't know what that looks like either. My kit doesn't get here until this week. I just ordered it on Saturday, so just a few days ago or a couple days ago. So I still need to kind of do that research and get all that stuff set up for myself. But what I might do is, if I don't remember now, I'm gonna do an unboxing of that kit and maybe just do like a special edition unboxing, because I'm gonna start working on it and I want to do the unboxing before I crack it open. So I will make sure to have my ducks in a row as far as information to provide for you about that event. By the time I do that unboxing, I'm assuming I'll be able to get it done. I'm probably gonna have to unbox it, post that video, and start on it like all within the same day or weekend, because we're getting up to, it's happening like the end of this week, so I got to get it done. But yeah, once I do that, I will provide all the info. That way, if you are interested in participating, even if it's I think it would be fine even if it's a late start. I'll have to double check, but if you're really interested in participating and you want to get on it and you have a Micah Jelena and you're like, this would be great, that sounds like a fun event, then please, I would just do a little bit of searching, so you can get the info that you need. I think searching for Jenny Rose would be a good plan of action, and then Nix's Lives would be a good plan of action if you already are sitting on a Micah Jelena and this is a good opportunity to work on it. So otherwise, I'll do a formal details and all that stuff when I do that unboxing / start the kit. Oh, that's a lot. But anyway, I'm like walking through the steps in my head and saying them out loud, and everyone just has to listen to it. So, but yeah, I'm going to keep cranking through on this. As you can see, this is like I said, it's kind of a mix of color blocking and confetti, because there's a lot of these transitions from color to color. A lot of these icy kind of colors as well are fairly similar. Like this is, this and this one I'm placing right now are slightly different. This one that I'm placing now is slightly more blue, but you do have a lot of these kind of fairly close color transitions, and then it gets a little bit more drastic when you have the hard lines of like, here's the top of the car and then here's the steering wheel. This is all going to be black and brown, 939 and 310. Is it 939? What is that? Sorry, 3371. Sorry, like that deep brown, and 310. So yeah, I'm liking it so far. It's keeping me engaged enough just because it's interesting to see these transitions of colors, but it isn't one of those kits that when you peel back the next section, you finish a section and you're like, oh, I see exactly what that's going to be, because it's a larger image too, in the sense that it's not like a bunch of like small trees or small details. So it's not like you're completing an object of focus in each section. It's just like a piece of that larger image, if that makes sense. Like even with like Midnight Laundromat, for instance, it's a girl sitting on washers, but even if you're in the far corner, you're going to be diamond painting and finish a section and be like, oh, it's a washing machine. Oh, it's an open 24-hour sign. Like all those little things in the background and the foreground that are not the focus, but at least gives you a little taste of like, I finished the detergent bottle, or I finished XYZ. This one is more of like, I'm just doing like a part of the car, so sometimes that can be a little less engaging. Soul of the Rose was nice because I'd finish like a rose, or I'd finish another like piece of the pattern in her dress, so each little section felt like it was really kind of knocking off a big chunk. But something like this is a little less like that, if that makes sense. But I still really like it. I love the color palette. I love the style of artwork. So I'm kind of really liking taking a step back after each diamond painting session and just seeing, okay, it's starting to make sense now. But I'm not getting those little like, carrots dangled in front of me of like little bits and pieces that are really exciting in the moment. It's just kind of working towards the bigger goal, essentially. So, but yeah, let me know if this is a style of artwork that you like, either appreciate either in just generally or specific to diamond painting. If this is really not your style. I feel like Distracted by Diamonds really does pick some artists that are a little bit more unique and a little bit more niche. They do have some classics, like Soul of the Rose came from them, so they've got some John William Waterhouse in there. We've got some, when it comes to old masters, Alphonse Mucha. They've got a lot of those that are kind of your heavy hitters, But then you look at some, like this is an older image. I forget what year it is. I want to say it's in the late 20s, maybe early 30s, so it's not in public domain. This is licensed from the estate of Tamara de Lempicka. I believe her granddaughter is who worked with Distracted by Diamonds to make this happen. So it is an older style artwork, and it's kind of that Art Deco style. But it's still a little bit more obscure, even for that, at least from a diamond painting sense. Like, you don't see a lot of companies licensing with Tamara de Lempicka or anything similar. They usually stick with your, like, if they're going to go older kits, they're going to go to your old standards, your John Williams Waterhouse, your Alphonse Mucha, Gustav Klimt. Like, that's who you're going to see in this era. You don't see a lot of companies licensing with like older paintings in the 20s or 30s because there's free options. So this is kind of nice. It's kind of nice to see it, and I love the style. I love the imagery. And I have seen a few, actually, I think I've seen one person unbox this. Make sure to call out if you know somebody that has either unboxed this or finished it. But that was another reason that drew me to it, is like, I haven't really seen this. I think maybe Jessica, Jessica over at Tiny Worlds of Wonder, she did an unboxing of a Tamara de Lempicka kit as like an announcement video that that Distracted by Diamonds had licensed them and was releasing kits. So she did an unboxing, but I don't think she did all three of the options that are currently available on Distracted by Diamonds. I think she just picked one. So I think you can see this image on that video, because they sent her some swag. Like, she got like some Tamara de Lempicka socks and a scarf and some other really cool stuff. And I think this image was on one of them, but I don't think she actually unboxed this kit. And I certainly haven't seen anyone finish it. So that's another reason why I'm like, ooh, this will be fun, because it's like maybe some artwork that people didn't even know was available for purchase and haven't heard of the artist, or loved the artist and didn't realize there was diamond paintings. So that also has me kind of excited. But as you can see, and a lot of this has to do with my placing, like especially on these lighter colors, you can see some gapping there, but I'm really trying not to focus on it, because the second I take 2 steps away, it just kind of blends. It's not that big of a deal. And I've noticed that, you know, just like everyone says, single placing helps to eliminate a lot of that. And so I usually will do a mix of like multi and single placing, just to kind of break up any sort of gapping that I do have. But I think I'm learning to not be such a perfectionist with placement. Like, obviously I'm not going to be haphazard and just here we go. But when I see that those little sections of gapping, I'll go through and try to clean them up a little bit just to like balance it, so there's not like one big gap and then nothing. Like, I'll kind of split the difference. But I haven't had a single person that I've done a diamond painting for, or seen one of my diamond paintings, go up to it and say, oh, there's some gapping here in the lighter colors, you know, like, so I've kind of let it go. I mean, I don't think it's that big of a deal. On these WIP Chats though, when you're all up close, there's probably some diamond painters out there that are like, yeesh, but I'm sorry. I'm not the pro at all. I just am doing the best I can as quickly as I can and having fun at the same time. I think for me, a lot of it's the actual like stress relief of the diamond painting. And if I let the perfectionist side of me kind of eke in, then it starts to take away from that personally. So I've kind of just decided to like just roll with it, do the best I can. And if I'm liking what I'm seeing when I step back and I look at it, then that's a successful diamond painting, or it's a successful attempt at diamond painting, I'd say. So yeah, I'm going to keep cruising through this. Where are we at on time? We're looking pretty good. I was going to try to get a full hour in with y'all, but we're about 15 minutes outside of that, which I think is fair. Let me go ahead and finish up this last section. So I guess, you know, what other questions that I have are, you know, I really have just been stumbling upon events. I don't know if there is like some sort of diamond painting event guru that kind of culminates all the different events into like a calendar or an announcement, or if there's like, what I'd love is like a diamond painting event Instagram where someone is in the know, they know who's doing what events and where and when, and I can just go to one place so I can kind of take a look at what everyone's doing and decide if that's something I want to participate in. But right now, I'm just stumbling into events. Like the Mic-a-thon, I only knew about that because I was on Nix's live and Jenny Rose announced it there. The same with Derek with Diamonds. He did a Pride event during June that I wouldn't have known about unless I was on Nix's live, because I don't watch every single person's every single video, so sometimes I'll miss it if they mention it on their own channel, or it's a creator that I didn't even know of. There is a new event that Derek with Diamonds is doing. It's like Ghouls and something or other, and because I started watching him because of the Pride event, then I found out about that one. But I feel like there's so many that I'm missing, and maybe they're of subject matters that I'm interested in, or they're using kits that I already have in my stash and wouldn't need to buy anything extra. So I think less of a question, more of a, call to action is, let me know in the comments if there's any events coming up, or if there's events that you've done in previous years that you know are going to be happening this year, or you suspect are going to be happening. Like I know Drills and Chills, Katie over at Diamonds and Washi announced that this past week. So I'll be participating in that. But like stuff like that where you're like, oh, every year we've been doing the XYZ event, Anthony, get on board, get with the program. I just kind of hear about them as I stumble upon them, and I'd love to have a little bit more planning. Luckily, Katie with Diamonds and Washi, she really gave a lot of advance notice for Drills and Chills. That doesn't start till September, which is nice. But there's a lot where it's like, okay, starting in August, we're going to be doing this. And I'm like, okay, I have a week to pick a kit, make sure I know all the entry stuff, jump on that. And I'd love to be a little bit more of a planner when it comes to some of these events. That way I can work other stuff into it. I can decide early on if I want to participate or not. And I don't want to miss out. There's probably plenty that are going on right now that I don't even know about, So yeah, any that you have. The only ones that I'm aware of coming up are Drills and Chills and the Micah Jolena event. I know that Emeralds and Fairy Lights is doing like a witches event the same time as Drills and Chills. So I have the latest kit from Ivy Dolomore, the Moon Thief. I think that'll qualify for both. So I think I'm going to enter both or that kit into both events. There's the Ghouls one from Derek with Diamonds. There's one called Rude, Crude, and Nude from Christopher, I think it's Colossa. And then I forget her name, but it's Diamond Painting with the Besties. They're doing that. I don't have anything that I think would fit. There was a couple of there's a couple of images that are old masters that I was thinking of doing some customs of that absolutely would fit. There's one called, I think it's called Medusa, and it's this really, like, for lack of a better word, it's a pretty grotesque image of Medusa being recently slain. So it's literally like a beheaded Medusa with like snakes. It's just, I find it fascinating, but it's also, I could see a lot of most people finding it disturbing. So I thought that'd be, once I heard about that event, Rude, Crude, and Nude, I was like, oh, that would have been perfect. But I mean, there's no way that I can get that image submitted to a company and get a custom canvas sent over to me in less than a week. So I will have to hold off. That might be something I end up doing during Halloween, maybe. I don't know if I don't think that would count for Drills and Chills. I mean, it is chilling, but I don't know if that's necessarily the spirit of the event. I have some more fun stuff that is like witchy and basically that Ivy Dolomore, and then I have the Cauldron of Myrrh, which is kind of Halloween-ish. kind of a combo witch mermaid, so I think that would count as well. So who knows, I might end up just doing 2 Ivy Dolomar kits during September and October. But yeah, any other events that you can think of that you were excited to participate in, or you know that are upcoming, feel free to share them, because I'm sure not only myself but a lot of other people in the community would love to be in the know with some of these events, being big or small. I know that Drills and Chills is kind of a big deal, but there's some other ones that are kind of small. And to highlight why it might be fun to follow some of these is there's some pretty awesome giveaways, even on events that aren't like big community events. So perfect example is, not to say that Derek's Pride event was by any means small, but whoa, that was weird. I joined the final live for that event. And keep in mind, I didn't have a rainbow kit for that. I mean, I've been working on some of them with the masters, but he was doing a giveaway in celebration of the event, but it doesn't, from what I understand, and I'm kind of proof of that, I don't think he was having people necessarily like register and all that stuff. It was just, grab those kits, share with the hashtag, but there weren't a lot of strings attached. So he did that last live, that wasn't this past Sunday, but the Sunday prior, where he was doing his grand prize giveaways for the event. Whoopsie. And I was actually hiking with Apollo close by, so I still had cell phone service, and I was binge listening to Derek with Diamonds. I was listening to his previous lives and previous videos because he's a great content creator, and I find his videos really engaging. And so I was hiking with him, and then I got home and it was still nice out, and I was like, let's not waste the good weather, Apollo. He seems still pretty sprightly, so we went right back outside and we just walked around the neighborhood. And one video finished, and I went to go click back on his channel, and he was going live, and I was like, oh, what a coincidence. I've been listening to his videos for like the past 3 hours, so let's just hop on this live. And it just so happened to be his kind of grand finale live for his Pride event. So he was doing a giveaway of a couple really awesome kits and some extra goodies, and I was eligible to participate in the drawing because I hadn't won anything for his event before. And like I said, I think this was kind of the first live I had joined that was tied to the event. It was just kind of luck that I was already listening to his channel all day, and he just happened to go live. And I didn't realize that he just goes live on Sundays, so that was just kind of new news to me as well. So anyway, long story short, he did the drawing, and I won like the main grand prize. So I got this awesome Diamond Art Club kit. I think it's called Meditation Squares. It came out earlier this year and was a limited edition. I tried looking it up on the site, and it's no longer there, so I think it's fully discontinued. But it's a massive 70 by 70 square drill canvas with gorgeous rainbow colors of different meditation themes, themes that you'd see in that kind of realm. So like lotus flowers and that type of thing. It's beautiful, and it kind of has this brushed like watercolor effect, and the color transitions are really gorgeous. So I can't wait to get that. And then he also threw in Pride, or the rainbow swax. I've never used swax before, and this one's like this really cool rainbow color, or transition rainbow color. I guess it has kind of a fruity citrus scent from what I looked it up on their website, because I've heard of swax, but I hadn't really looked into it. And then I also got there's two shrimp boats from Nyx's Notions that are in some bright colors, so God knows I need more Nyx's Notion trays, but I got those. And then a custom churned diamond painting pen that is a Pride rainbow. So it was like a huge giveaway, and I just so happened to be on his live and was engaging and participating, and I just stayed on for I don't think he announced the giveaway till a little way into the video, but I was walking Apollo, and then I just said hello, and he was talking a little bit about his experience in the diamond painting community as as it pertains to being part of the LGBTQ plus community. And so I was kind of mentioning kind of how I felt very welcomed in the diamond painting community. So I was engaging for a little bit, and he's like, all right, giveaway time. And I'm like, excuse me? Am I eligible? Yes. And then boom, I won. So I was like, okay, cool. So basically, moral of the story is, I think there's a lot of cool stuff. You know, you can end up walking away with some cool stuff just by exploring some of these smaller, quote unquote, smaller events, or, you know, just being a little bit more active in the community. I was surprised that I was A, eligible, and B, that I got such cool stuff, like a whole kit plus a pen plus wax plus 2 trays. Like what else could you ask for? That's like kind of the whole shebang. So anyway, it was just very cool. It was very exciting, and first time I've won anything on diamond painting related. So I was just like over the moon, and very super looking forward to that package coming in. And of course, I'll be doing an unboxing of that and putting the spotlight on Derek, because that was very kind of him. And yeah, I would listen to his live again this week. It was a little bit of a shorter one, but he did some unboxings of, I believe it's a new kit that he's working on, and just a couple other things. It was just kind of like a catch-up video. I know his the one previous for his event was a little bit more long form for him. So yeah, it was just kind of like a catch-up video, but I'm looking forward to continuing to check out his lives and a lot of other content creators. Punks and Crafts is another one that I've been really enjoying recently. That one is usually with Nox, I think is her name, or their name, and then there's usually like a little special guest, and I think they just finished an event that was like, I forget what it was called, but it was all around like the topic of punk. I don't know if that was in May or June. I don't really watch videos in any particular order for the most part. I'll just be like, this one looks interesting, and I just let it play. So I'm not sure when that event started or ended, but there's events there as well. So there's plenty to do, and it's so cool that people are really engaging with the community and doing a lot of fun stuff. And who knows, maybe someday I'll have my own little event that I'll do as well. I'd love to do something around a continuation of the old masters, because I've really fallen in love with the genre. So, you know, maybe it's like keep going with the mat. I don't know, because like I feel like a lot of those old masters kits are so big. It's not something that a lot of people are able to finish during the event. It's something that maybe they break out once a year during the event, or that's their plan, or they continue working on it for months after the event. So I think it would be cool to kind of keep the party going in that respect. There's also a couple of artists that I really like that I'd love to do an event specifically for. I'd love to do an Ivy Dolomore event. I think that would be so awesome. Their artwork is just some of my favorite, and I had a blast working on Midnight Laundromat, and now I have the mystery kit. I had to order that from a buy-sell group because I really wanted it, and it was discontinued. So the mystery kit from Ivy Dolomore, I have that sitting around. I have the Cauldron of Myrrh, the new one, Moon Thief, and then I think the other one's called Fisher Gal. Those are the ones I have of theirs, of Ivy Dolomore's, and I love them. I'd love to just do an event on that. I've also recently really fallen in love with Yume Arts pieces. I have one called, I think it's called Transparent or Transparency, Sakura Festival, and then I just got, it's on its way. I think it's called Still Waiting. It's the most recent release from Yume Art and Diamond Art Club. Just came out this past weekend. So I've got a few of Yume Arts as well. So I think it'd be cool to maybe pick an event around those or something like that. I'm not sure. We'll see. If you have any ideas, or maybe you've been tossing around the idea and you'd like to, chat about maybe collaborating on a fun event. It seemed like such a daunting task, and it still does. It's a lot of work. But when I first heard about Summer with the Masters, that was kind of the first event that Phoenix Fantasy that Nick's Notions did. It seemed like such a production and something that you really have to like, you've got to contact sponsors and get sponsors on board. You've got to do this and that. And it seemed like a whole, like, it's a really involved and just like only the top of top, people in the diamond painting community as far as like followers and, affiliate ships, only the people that are like the most connected got to do events. Or like, I guess that's just what I had in my head, because that's all I was seeing is some of the bigger creators. I know Miss Coffee did one that was like a person POC-a-thon or POC along. And so that was like my first experience or seeing an event. And then Phoenix Fantasy from Nick's Notions, and then Summer with the Masters. So I guess I was under this impression that was like only what I consider kind of the big timers are doing the events, but I'm seeing a lot of creators that are like, seem a little bit more like, not smaller by any means, but like, just like, I decided to do this because I really like this artist. And so I just decided to do an event. It's nothing huge, but I've thrown together a few things and I've got some gifts to give out. And I think it'd just be fun to, for others that have a similar interest in that style of painting or that artist. It seems a little bit more approachable now that I'm seeing some people that I follow doing events more consistently. I guess I just didn't realize that it's something that I might end up being able to do at some point in the future too. So I don't know, it's an exciting prospect. And like I said, let me know if you have any ideas or you want to talk a little bit more about maybe, doing an event, or if you've been toying with it and wanted someone to help out with the responsibilities, because you do have to keep track of like how you want it done and who's going, what's eligible, what's not eligible. Is it new starts? Is it, have to complete the, whoops, that is definitely not. So there is I don't know if there's any more here. There's a triangle down symbol here. There's also a heart symbol here, and there's also spade. So you have the heart, and you can see how the heart doesn't really have a very good dip in the middle. It looks like a triangle, but it's not. And then you have your spade here, and then here's one of the down arrows. So here's the down arrow, here's the heart. So the only way I'm able to tell, and this is a little bit of an issue with symbol clarity here with these hearts, is that the down arrow is more of a lighter brown, and the heart is R310. That's the black. So that's the only real reason I'm able to identify that. And I don't feel like it was that as difficult with the Soul of the Rose, those hearts. I think they were a little bit better rendered, but I guess that would be my only grouping of symbols that I feel like could have been cleaned up a little bit more. These hearts just look like down arrows. I have to get really close, and the only reason, like I said, I know that is because the actual down arrow is a lighter brown, which is this color, as opposed to the black. So if you were new to Distracted by Diamonds and you hadn't seen these two symbols previously, I could see that tripping you up. But it doesn't happen super frequently, but it just did, so I figured I'd call it out. So yeah. All right, I think that's it. Thank you all so much for watching. I really appreciate it. I'm gonna probably press pause on this. I want to fold that laundry and hang out with Apollo. He is out like a light. Never mind. I'm going to finish that laundry, see if there's anything else around the house that I can tidy up. And then I'm going to probably upload this video and make sure that I can try, get it posted this week, and take a shower, take a nap, regroup, refresh, and when I arise from that, maybe later on this evening, I'll have it in me to do an unboxing, just to have kind of one in my back pocket. I say that, and like my nature is just to be like, whoop, here we go. Like I do that all the time in my own head mentally. I will be like, okay, as soon as you're done with this color, you're gonna go to bed and we're just gonna wrap it up for the night. And then I hear and I look down and it's like my hands just automatically are like, and what's our next color? Like it's just like, disregard what he said. We're gonna keep moving. So yeah, I really do need to call it. I'm gonna call it. So yeah, I'm starting to see the gloves. Oh my gosh, we're getting to some good stuff here. I want to see the gloves. I want to see her hands. I want to see her face. She's got these gorgeous red lips. You see that there? Gorgeous red lips. I don't have any. Ooh, I might. Let me see. Hold on. I'm gonna see if, because there's no ABs in this kit, and now I'm getting all worked up over the chance of enhancing my kit. Okay, I don't think there's any ABs in this. Let me look. No, there's not. Let's see if I have any red ABs to put in here. At first, I didn't think I was going to have that opportunity because for whatever reason, I thought this was round for a second, like yesterday. I was like, oh, that's a bummer. I don't have any red rounds. These are squares. So I have my little, I don't know if you can see it here. I've got my little set of ABs that I got from DP with Sparklers. This was like a little sampler set. This guy opened up, unfortunately. So I have 666 and 600. And then I don't know exactly what color her lips are, but the only bright red is 666. What do you think? Should I, wow, those little peaches really got loose in there. Should I go ahead and glitz up her lips there? What do you think? Let me know. Final question. Should I glitz up those lips? I'll look out for the responses because it's still going to be a while before I get up there, at least a week. So let me know what you think if I should glitz up those lips. Welcome to Glitz Up Those Lips. And maybe I will do that. And I also have, let's see here. I have this deeper red, maybe. I'm not sure how many colors of red are on her lips. I was thinking just maybe the one, but maybe I can do the two. You see those? Maybe I can do the outside with the deeper red and then kind of the little Cupid's bow, whatever they call that, and towards the center, do it with the lighter red. Wow, look at all those peaches that fell out. That might be really cool. But I'm not going to keep you any longer. This is already a long WIP Chat. I was intended on it being a shorty, but I can't shut up today, apparently. And also, I'm just tired and probably a little slap happy. So thank you all so much for watching. I really appreciate it. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and share this content with friends, family members, or anyone that you think might take some value out of this content. Otherwise, I'm going to take a step back, fold some laundry, and get a little bit of R&R. Thanks again. Have an excellent rest of your day, and happy placing. Bye.